Welcome back to Prickly Pineapple Gaming.
This week we are going to be working on Reaper's Rewards Week 4. Last time we worked on Week 3 and we really worked on leveling up both our fishing and our gardening skills, and we're going to be continuing that theme of leveling up our skills this week. We are back with Scarlet and we have 2 new quests for this week. We have Flirting with Death and Death's Favorite Flower. This week we are going to be starting with Death's Favorite Flower. For Death's Favorite Flower, we're going to have 2 tasks to complete. We have Research Ambrosia on your phone, a tablet, or a computer, and talk to 3 plants. So we're going to get started by researching Ambrosia, and in order to do that, we're going to click on our phone, click on the home section, and then click Research Ambrosia. And once that is complete, we get a new task, which is Obtain a Death Flower. We're going to move on to our talk to 3 plants. So just choose any plants that you have. If your plants are outside, they have to be in season to talk to them. Otherwise, talk to ones indoors. And I was actually getting a little bit tired of all of these plants being out of season. And so I went ahead and I talked to the one plant that was in season outside, and then the ones inside that are obviously never out of season. And then I took some time and I created a little greenhouse because I feel like that's going to be the best option to continue to grow the plants that we need to grow. I just decided to do a quick little greenhouse. I threw up 4 walls, added a roof, added some windows and a door, and my planters are in there and there's some room for expansion in the future. We're going back to our task of obtaining a death flower. I was not sure how to get a death flower because I've never grown one before or gotten one before. So I went ahead and I just hovered over the obtain a death flower task and I got some more information, and it just says take a cutting of the orchid and graft it to your pomegranate plant to create a death flower plant, then harvest it. Or order a death flower from the home app on the phone. So here's where I made a fatal mistake. I went ahead and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this myself instead of taking the easy way out and ordering it on the home app. If you really want to grow a death flower, go for it, but it is going to take a long time. If you just want to get this done and over with, just go ahead and click on your phone and order the death flower on your phone. It's 1,300 simoleons. It is a little bit pricey, but if you really need it, just cheat the money. No one's gonna know. Since I decided to grow it myself, we just needed to have an orchid and a pomegranate plant. So we do not have an orchid plant yet, but last time we did graft a lily and snapdragon plant together, and that will create an orchid. We just have not harvested an orchid yet, so we are just waiting on that right now. But we do need a pomegranate. So we went ahead and decided to go into our home app to order a delivery, and then we found a pomegranate and we just ordered a grocery delivery. So once our groceries get here, we just click on the delivery person, click accept delivery, and then they'll take it in and set it down. And then we just click on our bag of groceries and select unload delivery bag. And then I thought the pomegranate would be put in my personal inventory, but it actually got put in the fridge. So we're gonna have to just click on the fridge, open the fridge, make sure our own inventory is open, and then just move it into our personal inventory. And then once we have our pomegranate, we're going to find wherever we want to plant it, and we're going to plant our pomegranate tree. I planted it outside, which is fine for now because the pomegranate is in season. I did eventually end up moving this tree into our greenhouse. I probably should have just put it in the greenhouse to begin with. So now it's just kind of a waiting game for our plants to grow. So we went ahead and switched over to our Flirting with Death quest. So with Flirting with Death, we have read the Ambrosia Society's newsletter and then flirt or socialize with the Grim Reaper. You know me, I love Grim and I love flirting with Grim. So I'm definitely going to be flirting with Grim. So in order to do that, we need Grim on our lot. And so we just go ahead and click on the Grimaphone and select the Summon Grim option. We just wait a little bit, and then once Grim has shown up on our lot, we just click on Grim and we are going to flirt. And Grim is definitely feeling Scarlet, and I love Grim so much. I was just like, let's do a little bit more romancing just for fun. And this is definitely funny. When you ask Grim about his career, his response is, my work-life balance includes nobody else. No living body, that is. But You know what, Grim? That's going to include us because we're eventually going to probably make you our baby daddy. So once I got bored of flirting with Grim, which is hard to do, I went ahead and moved on to our next task, which is read the Ambrosia Society's newsletter. Now, the thing with this is the newsletter gets automatically delivered to your lot whenever you get the mail delivered, and it could be on any of your saves. So the newsletter got delivered to a different save file. So if your sim does not have the Ambrosia Society newsletter and you need it, just go ahead and click on the mailbox and click the request replacement Ambrosia Society newsletter for 120 simoleons. And then you're just going to need to wait for the mail to get delivered again. And once it's been delivered, then just click on our mailbox and click Get Mail. The newsletter is going to be put into our Sims inventory. So we're going to go into our Sims inventory. We're going to click on the Ambrosia Society newsletter and then click Read. This week, the Ambrosia Society newsletter reads, "This week, the death flower should be just within reach. While you're waiting for it to grow, make sure you continue working on your cooking and gourmet cooking skills. They will come in handy when you're eventually ready to cook ambrosia." And we are definitely waiting for that death flower to grow. So we're going to start our next task, which is cook a recipe while level 7 or higher. So Scarlet is only level 6 cooking, so we are going to do a little bit of reading to up our cooking skill by reading Cooking Volume 2, Let's Keeping Cooking. Who on earth names that book? That is just painful for me to read. It has to have been a typo because it should just be Let's Keep Cooking. Oh my gosh. Now that I've noticed it, it's going to forever bug me anytime I see it. So once we have gotten to the level 7 cooking skill, we're going to click on either our fridge or our stove and click cook, and we're just going to cook something. Scarlett's going to be fancy and cook some mac and cheese. And once we've completed cooking our meal, we are going to get a new task, which is cook a gourmet cooking recipe while level 4 or higher. Scarlet is only a level 2, so again, we are going to go back to reading some to up our skill level. And in this case, we're going to read from the Green Lady's Lost Tome to get our gourmet cooking skill up. And like last time we read this book, it's upping our cooking skill as well. Get a little double duty action. So we ended up getting our cooking skill up to level 8, and we went back to read the book again, and now it's saying it's too difficult, so I don't understand what's going on because I feel like it should at least still give us more gourmet cooking skill, but it's not. It's just making Scarlet tense. So we just went back to our bookcase and actually read a specific gourmet cooking book, our Gourmet Cooking Volume 1, Make Food Fancy. So once we have finally reached our level 4 gourmet cooking skill, we're going to go ahead and click on our fridge, go to more choices, and click cook a gourmet meal. Again, just click whatever you want. And once we have completed cooking our gourmet meal, we're going to get this pop-up, Flirting with Death. Maybe after all this research is done, we can catch a movie or something. And then our reward is event points. And then it says, keep working on your aspiration to gain satisfaction points. I think I'm going to have to hold Grim up to the movie offer. We got to go on a date. So once we have completed our Flirting with Death quest, that just leaves us with the Death's Favorite Flower quest. Now, again, I could have completed this quest in 2 seconds here by just ordering the death flower from my phone. Instead, I spent like the next, 2 or 3 hours trying to grow a death flower from scratch. Yeah. It took a long time. So mostly this is just me taking the time. I have to wait for my spliced snapdragon and lily plant to bloom an orchid, and then I can harvest that and plant that. And I am also waiting for the pomegranate tree to reach maturity as well. So while I wait for those things, I'm just kind of tending my garden, making sure I'm watering everything, weeding everything, fertilizing things, evolving plants as they hit that evolution stage. And just generally taking care of Scarlet and making sure that she's getting all of her needs met. After spending a lot of time just taking care of all of our various plants, we finally get an orchid from our spliced snapdragon and lily plant. And so we're just going to go ahead and take this and we're going to plant it. We just first got to add a planter box. We're just going to click on our planter box, select plant, and then select our orchid. And now we just have to wait for our orchid to reach maturity in order to take a cutting from it. In the meantime, we invite Nancy Landgrab and Bob Pancakes over and celebrate Winterfest. Scarlet is letting her mischievous side come out towards Bob, not being very nice to him. And Dawn decides to show up for Winterfest as well. And then Clement Frost shows up at the fireplace, and Scarlet is feeling a little bit naughty, and she gets into it with Clement. And instead of just asking nicely for a present, she decides to fight Father Winter for presents. She's a little bit wild. So Scarlet did get some presents from Father Winter, but at the expense of him now despising her. I don't know if that's really the best trade-off. And then a couple hours later, I don't know if maybe Father Winter had something to do with this, but Vlad comes over and attacks Scarlet. She's not too thrilled about the vampire attack, so she goes ahead and buys some garlic seeds to plant in her garden. And she just goes back to taking care of her garden in general. Well, and then we also added a couple of garlic scented mirrors to our home as well. Gotta protect ourselves from that nasty vampire. Finally, our orchid plant has matured, and now we can just click on our orchid and select Take Cutting. And once we have gotten that cutting from the orchid plant, we're going to click on our pomegranate tree, click Graft, and then we're going to select our spliced garden shoot from our orchid. And now we just have to wait for our spliced plant to get back to maturity and start producing death flowers. So we just keep tending our garden. Eventually the pomegranate tree reaches maturity again, but we still have to wait for it to produce death flowers. Or at least one death flower. That's all we need. So of course, Scarlet has to take a break from gardening and go for a ride on Grimm's bicycle. I love that thing. And then we come back home, tend our garden a little bit more, and then finally our splice pomegranate and orchid tree has produced a death flower. So we're just going to click on our tree and select Harvest Death Flower. And as soon as Scarlet harvests that death flower, we're going to get this pop-up and it says Death's favorite flower. The death flower, my absolute favorite. We got our reward, which is event points again, and then it just says one more ingredient to go. So we have 2 out of the 3 things that we need to make ambrosia. So that is the end of our Reaper's Rewards week 4. And let's go ahead and go take a look at some of the rewards that we got this week. So last week, this batfish should have been available, but for some reason we didn't have enough event points to get it, but we got it this week. Now the other rewards that are specifically unlocked for this week is we have our metallic freezer bony, which honestly, these freezer bonies are just leave it or take it from me. We have our life and death tattoo. I like this one. I think this one's pretty cool. We can put Grim Reaper on our body. We have a inspired potion, and then we have this portrait of Lady Mimsley Alcorn Shallot in the garden. I'm kind of wondering if maybe this portrait makes like your house haunted or something. I don't know. And then lastly, we have this Fishing Volume 2 Tackles and Techniques. It says it's unlocked, but it's saying we still need 25 more event points. I don't know what that's about. I'm just hoping that we are able to actually collect all of these rewards by the end of the Reaper's Rewards. So that is it for Reaper's Rewards week 4. I did kind of enjoy this one. I will say that if I just ordered the Death Flower directly from my phone app, then it would have been a lot shorter than it was. I did like this week a little bit better than week 3. I feel like there was a little bit more to do, but honestly, feeling like there was more to do is probably because I grew the Death Flower myself. Honestly, when I look at it, there were not that many tasks, but that's fine. I think it's great for some people who are not really in it for doing all of these quests and tasks and stuff and who just want to get this done and over with. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I will get week 5 edited and posted soon. And if you enjoyed this walkthrough, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the future.